first thing we're going to be doing is turning off the power in the back and unplugging it. And then there are 2 screws on your machine above the screen. It could be either a Allen screw or it could be a Phillips head screw, but you'll just take those 2 off. Next thing is going to be removing just the upper set of screws and the lower one, so you're only taking off half the screws. This will enable us to flex the back panel enough to be able to pull the top panel back and up, and that will remove it. Very easy procedure. So we've got the top off the panel, the back is loose. What you're gonna do is pull this forward and pull up. That's how that loosens up. And then once you have that off, you're going to place it up on top of there. What we're gonna do is undo the capacitor nut on there. There's a little lock nut or locking washer on there. You just wanna keep track of both of those parts. Take that off. And then what you're gonna do is you can just lay that to the side. So what you're gonna do is just start removing a wire one by one and putting it on the new one. One thing that you wanna make sure that when you're putting the new ones on, you wanna make sure that you're not sliding it between the insulator, which is that blue thing on a few of these. You want to make sure that you're going right in between the curls and that flat section, so it's metal on both sides of the blade or the spade connector, and that will just make sure that you've got proper contact. If you have any questions or concerns, you lost your place, please reach out to us. We're more than happy to help you, make sure that there's no questions on this. Now we're doing the ribbon cable. And the temperature. All right, and then all the wires have been taken off of that old relay board. What Tony is doing is taking off the ground screw. You want to make sure that you keep track of the whole, both the nut and the screw, as well as the little white spacer, the little tube that goes between the cage or the metal part and the board. That just props it up and makes sure that it's properly grounded. And those are the parts. And then what he's doing is just lifting up and taking off the relay board from its mount. There's only 3 left on there. You don't have to be, since your relay board's getting replaced, you can just kind of finesse it off, however you like, but in order to do this, you just pull vertically up and the peg will slide out from the bottom. So we've got the relay board all wired up, the new one, and next we're going to be doing is taking off the other end of the ribbon cable off the USB board, and then we also have just a grounding screw. And what I always do, during one of these repairs is just take a bunch of photos. You can never have too many. Good reference. points are great. And we'll be able to take this to the workbench or table. So we got the screen and the USB board. We've got, we just took that off the top of the machine, and we're gonna be taking out the 2 screws that are holding part of this together. And the screws are different, so you just want to remember which one. It's not a big concern, but there is a pan head and then a flat head. Both of them are Phillips heads, but the screws do vary. And then we take off the face, and then next step is just further disassembly. Ribbon cables can be done, or we can take off the face. And then to remove this, so this is a capacitive screen. The way you can tell is that there are 2 different ribbon cables on there. What you're gonna do is just disconnect those. You lift up on the little black tabs on there. They're like a little blade, and then each ribbon will just come straight out. And the way that works on these ones, you just rotate them up or fold them back. They pivot on the inside, really easy to do. And then another thing you'll notice on this USB board that Tony is taking off right now, the gold screw will go in the corner on the bottom left. So it always goes in the bottom left. You can tell because there's a little gold on the inside of that ring of the on the USB board. So that will just enable it to be grounded to the sheet metal on the sled or on the cartridge. All right, next we're doing is just removing this USB board, just taking it off the pegs just like we did before. And sometimes the little white pegs will come off of the steel insert. And it's pretty simple. Just pop them off and plug them back in the hole. Perfect. And then we're just gonna start replacing the other parts. So this new USB board is a resistive one. It only has 1 ribbon cable on there, or receptacle. So it makes it a little bit easy to do, or a little bit easier to do than the other one. And with this is actually in the upside down position right now. It'll be assembled and turned the other way or flipped upside down. So I did reference this and said that this was going to be, it's in the top right position right now, but when it's installed on the machine, that gold screw will be in the bottom left position. Just to clarify, just right below the USB port on the side. And what we're doing right here is just making sure we're grounding the board. He had that little white washer or that little white tube spacer that's right here, and he put that underneath there so it was propped up. Put the screw through the hole and through the little barrel or through that little piece And then now he is just, and you'll just tighten it down. You want to make sure that it's pretty snug. And it's always toughest doing the first one, but once you get everything else lined up, then everything kind of falls into place on these. And Tony made it look easy on here. You know, you always want to make sure that you have the bezel, which is, you know, the surrounding rectangle. The thicker side of it on the long edge goes where the ribbon cables are, or on the bottom of the screen. So you'll see a difference on that. And the frame, I believe, doesn't matter which direction it goes. So we've got the screen in place. We've got the USB board in place. We're gonna put the ribbon cable in the USB board, and we just made sure that the receptacle was open with the black piece raised up or folded back, depending on which way you're looking at it. That will enable you to slide it in, drop it in. Perfect, and that's what it looks like when it's fully engaged. So we got the USB board connected with the ribbon cable to the screen. Next, we're just going to put the frame on the front. It just has to go into a little slot, kind of hook into it. Perfect, and it's all lined up. When you see the USB port in the little window, then you know you're good. Also, the threads can be seen through the hole on the opposite side. So we've got the front of the screen, that metal plate on. We just put in the flat screw that offers a nice flat profile on that side, and then on the other side, on the top, or actually on the top of the machine, the rounded screw is right there. So first thing that we're doing is putting the relay board into the little cartridge, and he's just lining up the pegs for it to go into. And those are just the white mounting pegs. There's only 3 of them on there. The other hole is going to be dedicated to the ground. And this is similar to the USB, where you have that little white spacer tube that goes below the corner. And then you just drop the screw in, and it's going to be a gold screw. Now that he's got it through, as long as that screw doesn't come out, he'll be able to just wind the nut onto it. And just snug it down. This is going through a circuit board, so you don't want to go super tight. And now that we've got the board mounted, he is just installing the ground screw that goes on top. And you just want to line up that hole just so the threads can be seen. And what you just saw Tony do, he loosened up that one screw just to allow it to get a good exposure of the threads. And then he can tighten up that other side once he gets this one down. Perfect. And you're on the home straightaway now. What we're doing is just putting the capacitor in. We've got the nut and the star washer. All right, so what Tony's doing is just cranking down the capacitor on that nut. Just as long as it's snug and just good engaged, that's great. And then this ribbon cable is just going to go onto the USB board. It is directional, and you'll only be able to get it in one way. It'll look like the position that he has it in, it's just going to be kind of dropping down a little bit, down, and then it comes back out. Otherwise, it would be kind of an unnatural path. But that's it. And then putting the screen, you're going to lock it in first in the bottom part, and then lay it flat. That's going to slide in. You just want to make sure that all the little blades go in there. It's pretty easy to align, and then just some finesse to get it in there, and then just secure the back with the screws, as well as put the two screws right in here, and then you'll be up and running. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to us. Thanks so much.